All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we actually got the one and only, we got the legendary, he's been doing his thing since the 90s, man, and still going strong today in 2022. We got the legendary veteran, Lyric.ct, right here, live on the line, man. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, doing best I can possibly be down here in Canada, man, just dealing with a crazy heat wave, man. It's gotta love it, man. But it's that time of year. How's everything going on out there on your end?
Yeah, man, awesome. I mean, we got a heat wave going on out here too. Very hot, very sticky, but we making through with it.
Hey, most definitely, man. I gotta say, I'd rather be hot and sticky than definitely be knee deep in some snow. So I'm okay with it.
Oh, definitely.
But, Lyric, I know you're a busy guy, man, so I'm going to dive right into this interview, man. But I want to take you back to the beginning of your iconic career this far, man. And I have to ask first and foremost, man, what originally made you decide to venture into the music industry initially, man? Because you were so deep within the music industry, man. You've done so many amazing things.
You know what actually made me start in the first place? I was like young and going through certain things, and it was kind of hard for me to get like basically express myself and get certain things heard. So I started writing rhymes and putting my pain on the paper and going into it.
And also as well, man, taking you to the year 2012, you actually released the phenomenal 14-track album titled Gears of a Hustler, man. I was wondering if you could actually tell our listeners a bit more about this earlier release project of yours, and of course, is it still actually out there on the internet to be streamed or purchased today?
Gears of a Hustler was actually a mixtape. It was a street mixtape, and I was supposed to actually release it to the masses, but this was actually prior to all the streaming platforms and your distro kids and stuff like that. So he's basically selling the actual disc out the trunk of cars and hand-in-hand passes.
I gotta say as well, man, nothing beats those days in my personal opinion, man. Honestly, I always found selling the CDs out of the trunks and whatnot, man, is where the real money is at. At the end of the day, that way you're making dollars. Nowadays with Spotify, you're making pennies, if that.
Most definitely, that's true. Now it's more about show money.
I gotta say, the music industry is almost like reversed in my personal opinion, man. Like back in the day, everyone was searching for a record deal, trying to get signed to their favorite label, but now it's like nobody wants a deal. They just want to go independent and do everything themselves, man. I'm noticing that it's kind of backtracking, going in reverse.
Yeah, but it's a great thing because I feel that the music industry and the music game right now, the way it is so much more easier to make some type of dividends or money from it. And as soon as you release your records, it's worldwide. It's not about me, hey, filling up a car and going from state to state and get involved with certain people and certain different demographics and moving CDs place to place. Now, you could just release a record and it's worldwide. You could have fans in the UK. You could have fans in China and different places now. Easily be able to set up a tour doing that also. So, I mean, the music industry is completely different, but I feel that it changed for the best because nobody nowadays needs major labels for backing or anything like that at this point. They could pretty much do it themselves.
And I gotta say, man, I definitely agree as well, man, but I do wish as well that Spotify, like these streaming services, would actually pay the artists obviously more, man. Because at the end of the day, man, you guys bust your ass, excuse my language, on your music and work so hard, your blood, sweat, and tears, and you get like a half a penny, man. I think that's not right that these multi-billion-dollar companies are making money off you guys like that.
That's definitely. I definitely see the truth in that. I definitely feel some type of way about that. Actually, me and my wife was going and looking up stream revenue, and I'm looking at Apple Music, and I'm looking at Spotify, and Tidal is actually the highest paid streaming platform right now. So the more streaming you do on Tidal, the more you get paid. I guess being the fact that that's started by Jay-Z, he's more for the artist, so he feels like you get more bang for your buck with Tidal, opposed to any other streaming service out there right now.
And I gotta say, down here in Canada, unfortunately, Tidal's not available. But I did notice down here in the Canada side of things that Napster is actually the highest paid one for the artists. So whenever I do need to use streaming services, I always go to Napster because I know that way at least individuals are getting as much money as humanly possible.
Yeah, I'm also under Napster too, so that's cool.
And also as well, man, during your time in the music industry, you've also had the opportunity to tour with numerous iconic individuals, and the one that really stood out to me was actually iconic hip-hop duo Mobb Deep. I was wondering if you could actually tell our listeners a bit more about this tour, and of course, what is one of your most fondest memories you shared with the late great Prodigy?
Oh man, Prodigy. I've been everywhere with these guys, man. It was great working with Mobb and doing shows, and it's just the little things that count. After a major show, we'll go find a diner, shut down the diner, and grab our food, go back to the hotel. It's just legendary stuff, man. Legendary. But I also did shows with Nas and also T.I., which was other major things.
And if you want me asking, man, what was it like just sharing the stage with Nas, man? Because, in my personal opinion, one of the biggest New York hip hop artists to ever do it, man, and always will be.
Legendary. Nas is he's a very, very, very private but very intelligent guy, man. So I could tell you this story. So this is my first show with him, and he pulls up. He's on his bus, and the promoter comes to me, and he's like, "Yeah, he's on his bus. You should go let him know that you're the opening act for him, and meet him, and say what's up, and try to start it from there." So I go knock on the bus door, and one of his security guards comes to the door. And I'm like, yeah, I'm Lyric. I'm gonna be one of the opening acts for tonight, and I want to let talk to Nas and have a powwow with him prior to us going in. So the security guard's like, nah, he's not gonna take any people inside the bus. So I'm like, all right, but I figured the security's doing his job. Cool. So anyway, he gets off the bus, and I let him know once we get in the VIP section. I let him know. I'm like, hey, listen, my name's Lyric. I'm the opening act for you. And he was like, well, that's good. I hope you got a real good show. And I'm like, yeah, my show is pretty good. I got a pretty good stage presence, nice performance. He said, well, if you here and you made it here to be able to bless the stage right before me, you better knock it down. And that right there was such a big thing to me because I used to really study Nas, and a lot of people said that my vocal pattern is something sort of like Nas, and it just grabbed me from there, and I was like, wow. Meanwhile, that same night, the promoter that booked the whole thing tried his best not to pay me, which was funny, crazy.
Yeah, some promoters are like that, man. I've heard some horror stories with some of them promoters, man. They like trying to shave off the top, man. And I don't understand it either, man, because those promoters, they're the ones that actually contact the venue, set everything up, price the ticket sales, so they know how much money they're gonna make going before the show even starts. So if they're not happy with their cut, man, they should have made the ticket sales a little bit higher, or you know what I mean, maybe told you, say for instance you get paid $500, tell you 300 rather than 5 to begin with, right? I don't know. Some of them guys are shisty, man. It's kind of
Yeah,
sad in my books.
most definitely.
But I hope you got your money in the long run, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? I end up going because actually that night, what is this guy's name? The guy that did Exhibit C. Oh my God, I forgot his name. J Electronica. So J Electronica was also an opening act for that tour, and J Electronica went out prior to me because we was having complications with the promoter, and J Electronica went out there and got booed. It was crazy. J Electronica gets booed. The promoter's like, yo, you got to do something. I'm like, fuck that. I got to get my money. So either you're going to pay me and I'll do what I do. He was like, well, you know what, just do what you need to do and come holler at me after you get off the stage. And the rest is history.
Yeah, I gotta love it, man. Everything's all fries and gravy until they actually need you. But hey, it worked out perfectly. I feel bad for the guy that got booed though. But at the end of the day, him getting booed definitely helped you get your papers. So at the end of the day, sacrifices need to be made.
But the crazy thing about it is, J Electronica is an incredible artist, incredible mainstream artist, and it just didn't work out for him, and it was a rough crowd that night, I guess.
And also as well, man, while we're still on the topic of opening up and touring, man, the one other person that I've noticed that you actually had the opportunity to work alongside, man, is the one and only Trick Daddy, man. And I gotta ask, man, Trick is such a phenomenal artist, and I know you're a phenomenal artist as well, so I can only imagine what this show was like with both of you guys on the set list. But how did that opportunity come to be for you, man? And of course, working with the one and only Trick Daddy.
You know what, Trick, that came from simply networking. I'm from Bridgeport, Connecticut, and I've done a whole lot of networking. I used to travel a lot, and network outside the state, and I ended up bumping into Trick's tour manager at a venue, and I was powwowing with him for a good while, maybe a couple months, and he was like, "Well, we're not doing nothing right now, but soon as we put together a new Slip and Slide tour, I'll definitely give you a call." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." Give or take about 4 months from after me meeting him and keeping tabs on him, he ended up calling me about it, and he was like, "Hey, listen, we will have to fly you out to Miami, start the tour." We started in Miami, we work our way back up towards New York. And I said, "You know what? Cool. That'll work out for me." And that's how that worked out. As far as Trick was considered, I was actually supposed to sign with Slip and Slide at that point, but certain things was kind of falling apart. And then you had Trina taking off the way she was taking off, and I guess the focus shifted to what Trina was doing at that point. Because that was around the time when Shut Up came out, and Trick was going through his share of things, and they was just pushing Trina at that point.
And while we're on the topic of labels as well, man, you have also had the opportunity to network with some of the top executives over at Atlantic Records. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about that business venture, and of course, what was it like just working alongside Atlantic, man? Because when you hear Atlantic Records, man, you already know that that's a huge business venture.
Most definitely. I mean, Atlantic, there's different labels that do different things. You got Atlantic, you got Universal. I've touched bases with Urban Sony when Urban Sony was Urban Sony. Everything comes from networking, Atlantic had a big deal as far as TI. So now at that point, I was supposed to be part of the original Hustle gang before T.I. actually went to jail. So I was talking back and forth with the head A&R over at Atlantic Grand Hustle, and she kept telling me, hey, listen, you got to come down here. We got to do this. We got to do that. But then once T.I. ended up getting jammed up with the whole case and everything like that, that's where everything kind of spiraled out of control. He ended up going to jail. The next thing you know, he came out, did the Family Hustle, and now we fast forward to now, which I actually have a record with A.K. the Razorman, which is one of the pioneers of trap music that came out with T.I. when he actually came out, which is called Pure. It's off my Doubted Legacy album that just released January of this year.
And also as well, man, I actually saw that via Instagram that you actually did a trailer, you did trailer music for HBO. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about that. And of course, what was it like actually being able to have your music featured on HBO programming?
Well, as far as that's considered, I shop all different types of beats to different places. What a lot of artists and a lot of producers don't know is that they can actually land placements on different TV shows and stuff like that if you submit to them. And I've submitted countless amounts of things to different companies, and you know, you get some that land, some that don't land. They pay pretty good, pretty good.
And I gotta say as well, man, you can never go wrong with something like HBO, man. Especially being able to turn on the TV and just hear your creation on the television screen, man. I've honestly never experienced it, but I can probably tell you right off the bat, it's definitely a phenomenal feeling just to actually see it and witness it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's an awesome feeling when you hear something that you've worked on. You know, whether if it's a radio ad or a digital ad or TV or radio, you know, it's great to hear something that you came up with in your own lab, in your own studio, from your own mind. It's a blessing.
And of course, man, on July 22nd of 2020, you actually released the phenomenal 9-track album titled Hustler's Logic. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners the story and inspiration behind this phenomenal project.
Wow. Yeah, Hustler's Logic is actually my unreleased album from 12. Because I end up I took a hiatus for a second, and I recorded a whole bunch of music up to 12, took a hiatus, and that whole album consists of a lot of different things. You know, I was hustling 8 million miles a minute. I was all over the place, and that album is very, very detailed, and it's a big piece of me as the artist, and it came all the way fast forward to now where I released out at Legacy. Prior to that, I figured I wanted to get that music also out, and I felt that, you know, the album was dated, so I put it out. I got a pretty good response from it, but yeah, you know, even down to getting the sample clearances for Cap Calloway for my Big Boy record, and you know, it's a deeper thing.
And I gotta say as well, man, the one song that I really enjoyed off that project is actually Big Boy featuring Indigo Brown, man. I don't know, just the chemistry that you guys had together on that particular joint was absolute fire in my personal opinion.
Of course, man. It was dope, man. It was definitely dope. Indigo, shout out Indigo Brown. Indigo came to the lab. It was funny how that happened, because I was working with one of my old partners, Fresh, and I made the beat to Big Boy, and I'm listening to the record, and I'm like, man, I need like a catchy hook. I need a catchy hook, and I'm like, you know what? The sound is from like the 30s, so I need somebody with like the squeaky voice, like the "Hey, big boy," the like little flirtatious squeaky voice from like from like the 30s. So this was actually my guy's neighbor. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go knock on her door, ask her if she could do a sit-in, if she could be able to do the hook for me. And I knocked on the door, and I told her, hey, listen, you got the perfect voice that will fit this track. I need you to come to the lab and lay it down. It'll only take about 10 minutes. Just come to the lab and just lay it down for us. And by the grace of God, she actually came and did it. So, rest is history.
And I gotta say as well, man, like I said, just how you guys had phenomenal chemistry. Just going back after you answered that question, sorry, and just me going back and hearing what I just said, I can see why you guys had phenomenal chemistry, because you guys were in the lab together, man. Nowadays, a lot of individuals just shift like songs and whatnot through the internet from one state to the other or country to country, but nothing beats actually being able to be in the studio and actually make the magic happen together.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, if she wasn't present there at that moment, it's kind of hard to teach somebody how you want them to say the hook. That's that production side of me. But it's hard to get somebody to say the hook exactly how you want it to say when you want them to say it from afar.
And I know you mentioned this project a few moments ago within the interview, but December 31st of 2021, you actually released your most recent album titled Doubted Legacy. I was wondering if you can actually shed some more light on this recently released project, and of course, where can we actually buy or stream ourselves a copy of this phenomenal project today?
Doubted Legacy is on all streaming platforms: Tidal, Apple Music, KKBox, Spotify. You guys also use what you use out there? You use the what streaming service is popular?
I would say mainly like Spotify, Apple Music. Pretty much like we have pretty much all of them down here in Canada, except for Tidal, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so I'm on all streaming platforms. It's called Doubted Legacy. Doubted with an E-D, not I-T. Doubted Legacy. The way how this came about and how the structure of the whole album came about, like I said, I was coming back off my hiatus, and I was like, you know what, the way that the industry and how music is being made nowadays and the content that people are putting out is kind of awkward. So I figured, I'll get back in the booth and start from scratch and pull some things together that runs concurrent with the newer age of rap, and on top of that, bring back that good feeling of substance and actual wordplay and bars. So I reached out to a couple different artists to jump onto the project with me. I did all the production. Once I did all the production, then after I did all the production and had all the records, I started sending certain records out to certain people. Now I have Trey Fatal out of Miami, Florida. He runs Miami, Florida. He runs that whole region. I also have AK the Razor Man, which I actually gave you a footnote earlier about him. He started trap music with T.I. He was part of the PSC gang. Well, Pimp Squad Click. They started the whole trap music movement, so he's iconic in the whole music and hip hop genre. Also reached out to Gillemish out of Jamaica, and Gillemish, I've been around him years back. He ended up getting caught up with some bad issues, and they end up sending him back towards Jamaica. And now he actually dominates Jamaica as far as the music scene in Jamaica. So I figure I'll reach out to him, pull him on a record, and You know, I also have the young Beasley. Beasley from Ludlow is on a record with me. My Staying in Lane record, which is a real dope record also. Um, so yeah, we put together a pretty good project. Once I was done doing everything I could do on my end as far as the production, the mixing, I had to bring it to my guy Steve Sola out of Manhattan, which actually worked on all of my deep stuff. He did Nas. It was written. He's done countless amounts of platinum records. He worked with 50 Cent, J-Lo. He worked with a lot of different people, and I had him take it to the final level that it's at now because my ears kind of hit a limit. And he has well-trained ears to be able to take it to the final level where it needed it to go.
And also as well, man, for the listeners that actually have not had the opportunity to listen to this record or got a chance to dip into it, I'm going to give them a taste here this evening, and immediately following this interview, I'm going to be playing a song off this Doubted Legacy album titled Stats of a Star. For the listeners that haven't already had the opportunity to listen to this song, or of course the album, what can they expect from it when I play it here momentarily live on the Canadian FM dial this evening?
Yeah, Stats of a Star is an amazing record. Like I said, that's me and my guy Gillemish out of Jamaica. It's a hip hop record, but it has a good feel to it. It has an excellent hook to it, and it's just a dope record.
And I gotta say as well, man, definitely my favorite off this project, man. So when I knew I was interviewing you, I was like, yo, man, I gotta get this song locked and loaded and ready to play right after, man, because this is some heat. And I think this song right here, if listeners are just learning about you today, I think once they hear this song, they're definitely going to be sliding over to Spotify and downloading this record to their phones.
Most definitely. It's a big record, man. It's definitely a big record. I tried to make sure that the album was well rounded. I actually produced roughly about 30, 40 beats just to go through it, to search through it, to get the correct records with the right, to make the project nice and full and well rounded.
And also as well, man, I have to ask, what is next for yourself, Lyric.ct, man? Is there anything we missed during this interview? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on the 97.7 FM dial this evening.
Well, you know what? Like I said, my next thing is I'm working on some other projects with a couple of different other artists. Like I said, I have K-Sun also. Rest in peace to Sam Grimes. He's on my Home Run record, which I just shot a video for. Directed by Escobar Films. Escobar is a pretty deep and great director from actually he's from Colombia, but he does excellent work. Also, he's worked with countless amounts of people. Most definitely, I mean, it's a lot. I'm grateful for you guys having me on your station. Very grateful.
And I gotta say as well, man, first and foremost, this is the time in the interview, man, that I just give a chance for the individual that slides into the station airwaves, just a chance to give, like, shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to, but most of all, man, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything Lyric.ct and follow you all across the board if they're not already doing so.
Most definitely. You can follow me on Facebook, Cottrell Lyric McLean on Facebook. Also, my name is Producer K. MCLEAIN _ AKA _ Lyric.ct on Instagram. That's kind of long, but Producer K.Mcleain, AKA Lyric.ct. You can also hit me up on BeatStars if you guys need beats. Producer K.Mcleain on BeatStars.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, Lyric, thank you so much, man, for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and sliding into the 97.7 FM airways, man. Honestly, it was definitely an honor and a privilege to have such a legendary, veteran artist and producer like yourself on my radio station dial this evening, man. And I gotta say, I'm pretty sure down the line, we gotta make this happen again sometime soon.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I may try to get some shows out towards that way.
Hey, most definitely, man. I can definitely try and swing some people your way, man, because we just got the borders open back up from my knowledge. So I'm not going to lie, man, we definitely need some real hip-hop down here in Canada, man. We've been show-list for so damn long, man. We need some concerts back in the mix here in Canada.
Most definitely. Actually, what's my guys? My guys Teflon. They just came from Toronto, I believe. They performed out in Toronto a little bit, and also my guy Reddy Rock. Reddy Rock B has been doing this thing out there too. So yeah.
Hey man, I gotta say, next time around, it has to be Lyric.ct making its way down to Toronto, man.
Most definitely. We'll get it right.
Hey, man, most definitely, Lyric. Thank you so much again, man, and definitely have yourself a wonderful night, man. I'm pretty damn sure we'll talk soon.
Most definitely.